In this video, we will take a look at how Ezmeral Unified Analytics can be used to deploy ML pipelines for model training, model retraining, model deployment automation. That will be done using Kubeflow, which is part of Ezmeral Unified Analytics. To start up the process, we will go to the notebook area of Unified Analytics and launch a notebook server. Once we get into the notebook, we will use a specific capability within the Ezmeral Unified Analytics notebook interface, which is called Kale. This particular capability allows conversion of any notebook code into Kubeflow pipelines for deployment. So this saves any specific work, extra work that needs to be done for deploying your code as Kubeflow pipelines. So as you can see, this is a pretty standard notebook. So within this notebook, there are initially a few cells that we will use mainly to initialize the data. So what it does is it will essentially just copy our source data file into a particular location. In this case, we are using the embedded S3 capability within Ezmeral Unified Analytics. So once we run that and the source data for training is in place, then we will need to launch enable Kale. So we do that now. So after we enable, we will be able to compile the notebook code into a Kubeflow pipeline. And that pipeline will be launched on Kubeflow. So we will be able to now go into the Kubeflow web UI within Unified Analytics, and we'll be able to see that the pipeline has launched. So within Kubeflow, there are a number of capabilities. So if we want to take a look at all the pipelines that ran previously, so we can see I have run the same pipeline a few times previously, and you can see that the whole pipeline has multiple steps, including sampling as well as trying out multiple models and then deploying a model. The current pipeline that we launched will be visible under runs. As you can see, it's a pipeline that's being run currently, and as the different steps get executed, they will appear within the UI. And we will also be able to see for each step if there are logs. If there is any output, we'll be able to see if we are interested by clicking on that particular step and clicking on the logs tab. In this case, because we have run the same pipeline multiple times and there is no change in the code, Kubeflow remembers the previous runs and it can take the output from the cache without having to rerun the exact same step again and again. So that is why this particular pipeline is being run quickly. Once all the steps in this pipeline are run, then we will be able to see that the particular model endpoint will be deployed. As you can see in this particular pipeline, we try out multiple different kinds of models, and then we deploy a particular model. Okay, so now we will go and check the deployed model endpoint. And that model endpoint is within the endpoints area of the menu, and you can see that the fraud detection model is deployed. And within this model you can see external as well as internal URL for that model. Both these URLs, when they are invoked, they need the JOT token, the SSO token, to be passed, and that particular token within the notebook environment will be available as part of one environment variable. So that way the users will be able to pass it and get the predictions. So now we are going back to the notebook, because we want to now see whether the deployed model API inference endpoint can be used. So within the prediction area, now we need to create some synthetic data, which is what we are doing, and we would essentially pass one record out of that, and here we are just forming the internal URL that we need to invoke. And after forming the record, once we pass it, we will be able to see the model inference output. And as you can see, the inference output is telling us that whatever record we passed is detected as a fraudulent transaction. So as you can see, with Kale and with Kubeflow, HPE Ezmeral Unified Analytics provides a way to deploy MLOps to automate model training, model retraining, as well as model deployment pipelines. Thank you.